Welcome into Prize Picks on 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick and at 5 Reasons Sports. I got David Eversole. You can follow David W. Eversole. And I've got David Friedman. You can follow at Taco About Sports. Make sure you download the Prize Picks app from prizepicks.com or from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, depending on what kind of phone you use. And make sure you use the code 5. You will get your initial deposit matched up to $100. But remember, it's the word initial. So as soon as you sign up, deposit. Use the code 5, and they will match anything up to 100. So if you're planning on risking more than that over time, you should put down the full 100. It doesn't matter to us, but it's good for you because they'll give you the $100. Or if you just want to put down 20 and get 20, you'll do that. It's free money. There are no rollovers. You can play everything you can possibly imagine. Stanley Cup playoffs, of course, did a lot of that yesterday. MLB, MMA, boxing, golf, tennis, etc. But today we're focusing on Heat Celtics. Game 2 up in Boston. The Heat lead the series 1-0. Jimmy Butler had 35 points in the last game, in addition to 5 steals and a whole bunch of other stuff. Nothing different for the starting lineups tonight, guys. Robert Williams is still starting. Joe Mazzulla leaving him in the starting lineup. And on the other side, that means Kevin Love continues to start for the Miami Heat. Let's go to, before we get to our favorite props today, maybe some of these are, let's start with the big names here. So let's go to Jimmy Butler. Mr. Friedman, would you play him over on anything tonight?
I mean, it's hard to keep questioning this, right? But I'll stick with the over on the field goal attempts. I think it's at 20. I just can't imagine at this point, unless he's having one of those games where his ankles, nagging him, like he's going to shoot his shots, right? I can't see him all of a sudden taking 17 or 18 shots tonight. So I think that's safe regardless of how many points.
I would agree, especially because I don't know that he'll necessarily get a ton of calls tonight. Game 2 in Boston, up 1-0. So maybe fewer free throw attempts and more field goal attempts. Eversole, would you play anything on the Butler side?
Well, I liked maybe rebounds plus assists. Some of those combos, it's only at 12.5. That's a pretty solid number for him. But I thought the points was maybe a little bit high. I'd actually lean under on the points at 28.5.
And I remember when it was 21.5 during the regular season. All right, go to you first on this. Eversole, Bam. Would you play anything Bam related?
I mean, Bam's been eating versus the Celtics. I mean, he had a great game 1. He's at 18 points again. I'd probably, if I was going to roll the dice on Bam, I'd go with the 18 points or maybe on the 30.5 PRA. But I like the 18 points.
I'll tell you, the PRA is creeping back up again. It's been down to 28.5, 29.5, slowly but surely. Friedman, would you play anything Bam?
See, this is where it's like the opposite now. Like I feel like the aggression's there and all that, but I feel like it's to the point where the Celtics kind of have to like focus a little bit more on him. I think he's sort of the key right now, right? I mean, Jimmy's doing his thing, but when Bam is doing what he's doing, it's hard to stop him. So I think they focus on him a lot more tonight.
All right, so let's go to the rest of the Heat players. I'll give you a couple that I like, and then you guys can jump on this. Caleb Martin did not have a free throw in the last game, so they bumped him back down from 1.5 to 1. I'm sorry, it's too tempting. He's going to get a ton of minutes in this series. He looked great with Jimmy the other night. I'm going to play him over on the one free throw made. It was very good to me for a long period of time, so we'll see if he gets back to that tonight. And then I really like Strus tonight, 11.5 points. Over. He's had stretches where he's really carried them, did it in the third quarter the other night. Doesn't seem to struggle with Boston very much of late, and particularly in that building. He's very comfortable in that building. He has some history, obviously. He could have been a Celtic. They signed him. They didn't keep him. I'm going to play Strus over tonight on the 11.5 points. Eversole, what else? And you see he's been over that consistently. Eversole, anything you like?
Yeah, I love Caleb, obviously. You had him at the one free throw made. I took him over 13.5 points in rebounds. In 12 playoff games, he's been over this 9 times. Like you said, he gets some minutes. He just does all the little things. And I feel like points and rebounds are kind of his strength. I agree with you also on the one free throw because you have the push potential if he only gets 1 or, if he misses 1 out of 2. I always like those even number better than the 1.5. So I like Caleb as well over 13.5 points plus rebounds.
Yeah, I mean that's 1 and 1, and you're safe there. Friedman, what else do you like on the Heat side?
I can't argue with what you're saying. The thing is, it was so spread out last game. It's hard to tell like really what to expect. That will be different, but like Caleb and I just think they have to focus on defense on that side of it. So the offensive numbers, the rebounds might be a little bit down compared to against the Knicks. I didn't really do much with the Heat this game. I took a bunch of stuff on the Celtics side.
All right, so let's start there. What do you like on the Celtics side? Give me your top one.
I'm going Marcus Smart over 6 assists. Seems kind of obvious because of what he did last game, but it's just the way they play. I've been consistent taking guys against the Heat with the assist. I don't see much changing with this. I mean, I don't think they change up on defense too much. And
he had 11 assists early in that game before they started to shut it down. It seemed like every time he got in the paint, they'd collapse on him, and which we'll see it as a different strategy there, but I think they may do something somewhat similar there. Eversol, what do you like on the Celtics side?
I love Smart as well. He had a great overall game in game one. I took him over 16.5 points and rebounds. I don't think he's going to get 11 assists again in this game, but I think he's going to have another solid performance in multiple categories and maybe pick up on defense. But I like him over 16.5 points plus rebounds. He's been over that 11 of his last 15.
Wow. All right. I'm going with Jaylen Brown over the 6 rebounds. This has been a consistent play for me during the playoffs also. He's been over it, I believe, 5 of the last 7 games, or at least he's hit it in 5 of the last 7 games. Even with Robert Williams starting, I do think there are enough rebounds for him there. And I expect the Heat to shoot not quite as well as they did in the last one. You can see he's just nudging up against it all the time. So I think there'll be more rebounds available. Brown's a big focus, obviously. I think he claims some of them. Use the code 5, FIVE, get that initial deposit matched up in $100. Any other pick, one more that you guys like, just to mention on the way out the door here, Friedman?
I like Derek White over 10.5 points and assists.
Okay,
the Heat killer.
Did not have a huge role in last game. I feel like it'll get bigger in this one. I cannot see them continuing to start Robert Williams, even though they did it today. I was uncomfortable playing any of the Robert
I like Williams on 7 rebounds over.
Yeah. He might get those, but I think there's a mismatch to exploit there. All right, use the code 5, FIVE, get that initial deposit matched up to $100. We'll see you before, I guess, Game 3, Lakers and Warriors. Have a good night, everybody. Lakers and Warriors, sorry. No, Lakers and Nuggets. See, I'm giving the Nuggets disrespect, too. Apologies. Mike Malone, don't get mad at me. Have a good night, everybody.